Hello friends, welcome to CS Tubes. Today we are going to discuss about non-deterministic finite automata, more commonly known as NFA or NDFA. It is just similar to our DFA, that is deterministic finite automata, with little bit of differences. So in this video we are going to discuss about non-deterministic finite automata along with the differences from DFA. So an NFA has a power to be in several states at once. That means at a single instance of time, our NFA can be in several states, can be in more than one state. Each NFA will accept a language that is accepted by some DFA. That means if a language is accepted by a DFA, it will also be accepted by a NFA. We can always convert an NFA to a DFA. So, a NFA can be changed into a DFA. We can see it in a form of a set. Let's assume that our NFA is a superset. Then the DFA is the subset of a NFA because DFA has certain kind of restrictions. Due to these restrictions, DFA is more restricted as compared to a NFA. So whenever we want to convert our NFA into a DFA, we will impose all those restrictions on a NFA and we can find the equivalent DFA for a corresponding NFA. Similarly, from here, it is clear that each NFA will accept a language that is accepted by some DFA. That means if a language is accepted by a DFA, so it is obvious that it will always be accepted by a NFA. Now, I would like to suggest one thing, that in case you haven't watched our video on DFA, that is deterministic finite automata, please go and watch it so that you are clear about DFA and you can make the differences out in case of DFA and NFA. Now let's discuss the 5 tuples using which we can represent our NFA mathematically. So NFA is represented mathematically using 5 tuples. These 5 tuples are capital Q, summation, delta, Q naught and F. Capital Q is a non-empty finite set of states in NFA. Summation is non-empty finite set of input symbols. Then Q naught is our initial state of NFA. So initial state means that the state from where our NFA starts functioning and is a member of capital Q. That means initial state Q naught belongs to the set capital Q, that is the set of all the states. Now the next is our F. So capital F is a non-empty finite set of final states. So it is a finite set of final states means there can be one or more than one final states in our NFA, but these states are finite. So from here we can say that Y is a NFA called as finite automata. So it is a finite automata because it consists of finite set of states, finite set of input symbols and finite set of final states. Now further we will see that why it is called non-deterministic. Before that, let's discuss what is delta. So delta is a transition function that takes two arguments. The first argument is the states from capital Q, that is set of states, and the second argument is the input symbol from summation, that is set of input symbols, and returns a subset of capital Q. That means it will return a subset of states. For example, let's say we are currently on the state Q naught and we are reading an input symbol as A, for example. Now, reading an input symbol A, we can move to one or more than one states. So, in case of NFA, let's say we are moving to state Q1 and also to state Q2, reading the same input symbol A. So, that's why we have written over here that it takes the argument, two arguments. The first argument is from capital Q. So, over here, the first argument, that is Q naught, is from the set capital Q. And the second argument is taken from summation, that is it is taken from the set of input symbols, and then it will return a subset, that is a subset of capital Q. So this is a subset of capital Q, that is the set of states. So it can be mathematically represented like this. So delta is represented mathematically. It takes the first argument as capital Q into the second argument as summation. Now, along with the input symbols, it can also take a epsilon. That means there are epsilon transitions also. That means reading nothing also we can move to any other state in case of our NFA, and this was not possible in case of a DFA. So it will give us a subset of the set of states. So whenever we talk about the subset of a set of states, so it can be represented using a power set. In mathematics, as we know, that power set is a set which contains all the subsets possible for any particular set, and it also contains the empty set along with the full set itself. So that's why we have taken the power set over here, and power set is represented as 2 to the power q. Q are the elements of the set of which this power set is taken. So we are taking the power set of the set of states, that is capital Q. Hence we are taking it as 2 to the power capital Q. So from here we can read it. Therefore, in NFA, the range of delta is the power set 2 to the power capital Q. So its value is not a single element of Q, but a subset of it. This subset defines the set of possible states that can be reached by the transition. Now, let's first discuss that why is it non-deterministic. Now, over here, we cannot determine that when we are on the state Q naught and reading the input symbol A, what will be our next state, because we can be on more than one state at the same time, because reading the input symbol A while we are on the state Q naught, we can be on the state Q1 as well as we can be on the state Q2 also. So it is not determined that which is our next state. Hence, it is called non-deterministic, because in this we cannot determine that what exactly will be our next state. So now we have understood that why it is called not deterministic and why it is called finite. Because we cannot determine our next state, that's why it is non-deterministic, and since it has finite number of states, finite number of inputs and finite number of final states, hence it is finite automata. Now, if we compare it with a DFA, so we will find that the difference between the NFA and DFA is that the first difference is that in case of DFA, we doesn't allow the epsilon transition. That means we doesn't allow the movement from one state to another state using the input as a null input, that is epsilon. But in case of a NFA, epsilon transitions are allowed. That means for moving from one state to another state, we can read a input symbol epsilon. Now, the second difference is that in case of DFA, reading a single input symbol, we will move to only one state. So, over here, it is not a subset of capital Q. It is a single state to which our DFA moves. However, in case of NFA, we can move to multiple states while reading a single input. So, these are the two most common differences between our NFA and DFA. Now, from here we can see that we can transit from a state Q on the same input to different states Q0, Q1, Q2, so on Qn in Q. This is not possible in case of DFA. So, this is already explained by me. Now, let us take an example. Suppose, for example, we are on the state Q0. Now, in case of a DFA, reading input A, we can only move to single state, that is Q1. We cannot move to more than one state. However, in case of NFA, suppose we are on the state Q0 and we are reading input symbol A. So, we can move to the state Q1. We can also move to the state Q2 reading the same symbol A. And reading the same symbol A, we can move to state Q3 also, and so on. So we can represent it using dot. That means we can move to multiple states reading the same input symbol. Now, the epsilon transition was not allowed in case of a DFA. However, in case of NFA, what we can do, suppose we are on the state Q0 and we don't want to read any input symbol, but we want to change our state. So, it is possible in case of NFA that we can move from state Q0 to state Q1 reading a blank symbol, or we can say reading a null, that is epsilon. So epsilon transitions are possible in case of NFA. However, these transitions were not allowed in case of a DFA. So this is all about NFA. In case you have any queries, you can leave a comment in the comment section below. Stay tuned to watch more videos. Please like and subscribe our channel CS Tubes. Thank you.